Welcome back to WION World is One. You're watching Speed News with me, Vidur Kathuria. Let's get started. US President Donald Trump has warned he no longer feels bound to think purely of peace after missing out on a Nobel Peace Prize. This according to a message revealed on Monday. In correspondence with Norway's Prime Minister, Trump challenged Denmark's authority over Greenland, saying he wants complete and total control of the Arctic territory as part of his push to acquire it. Danish Foreign Minister Lars Rasmussen has said that US President Donald Trump cannot achieve his goals in Greenland by pressuring Europe. Speaking to Sky News, Rasmussen emphasized that Europe's firm stance is crucial to bring the US back to negotiations. When asked about the possibility of a US invasion, he replied cautiously, saying nothing can be ruled out until the president himself decides. Ukrainian authorities have reported that Russian forces carried out an airstrike on Kharkiv targeting civilian residential areas. Kharkiv mayor said 3 guided bombs hit the city, one striking a private home, killing a woman and injuring 9 others. At least 30 homes were damaged, with one completely destroyed, and 7 vehicles were hit. He added in a separate strike, Russian attacks also damaged an industrial facility and the city's energy infrastructure. Ukrainian air defenses are actively responding to a fresh Russian assault on Kyiv. Aimed at the country's energy infrastructure, Russia has intensified strikes on Ukraine's power grid using drones and missiles. Strikes have left millions without electricity amid freezing temperatures that have dropped to minus 20 degrees Celsius. The Islamic State has claimed responsibility for an attack on a Chinese restaurant in Kabul. The attack killed at least 7 people, this according to the site intelligence group. In a statement, the group said it is targeting Chinese nationals in response to what it describes as crimes against Uyghur Muslims by the Chinese government. Spain is searching for answers after a devastating high-speed train crash claimed at least 40 lives. Investigators say initial inspections point to a damaged rail joint that may have triggered the deadly derailment. Sources briefed on the preliminary investigation said technicians have identified a broken joint between sections of rail near the crash site. The defect is believed to have existed for some time and may be central to determining the exact cause of the accident. Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez visited the crash site on Monday. Sanchez cancelled his planned trip to the World Economic Forum in Davos following the tragedy. Venezuelan migrants deported from the United States have arrived back in Venezuela, landing at Simón Bolívar International Airport on a flight from Arizona. Authorities have not disclosed how many people were on board. This return comes on the heels of the first deportation flight earlier in the week, the first since the high-profile capture of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro by US forces. More than 7 million Venezuelans have left the country in recent years amid a prolonged economic and social crisis that the government attributes to the US and other international sanctions. For many years, the United States was seen as a refugee for Venezuelans fleeing hardship. However, during Donald Trump's second term, many Venezuelan migrants were increasingly labeled as criminals and faced deportation or were forced to seek asylum elsewhere. A tragic accident occurred south of Johannesburg on Monday when a minibus collided with a truck, resulting in the deaths of 13 school children. This has been confirmed by the police. This incident adds to a series of deadly crashes in South Africa, where speeding, careless driving and poorly maintained vehicles continue to plague the roads. The crash took place near Vanderbilt Park, an industrial city roughly 40 miles from Johannesburg. Bulgarian President Rumen Radev has announced that he will officially step down today, with Vice President Ilyana Yotova taking over until new elections are held. Radev's term, originally set to end in 2026, marks the first presidential resignation in Bulgaria since its 1991 independence from the Soviet Union. In a national address, Radev spoke of future challenges and unity, saying, "We are ready, we can and we will succeed." Bulgaria, an EU and NATO member state that adopted the euro currency on January 1, 2026, was rocked by anti-corruption protests in November and December that brought down the prior centre-right government. Kosovo election authorities have ordered a full recount of last month's national elections after prosecutors launched an investigation into reported tally inaccuracies. Preliminary results showed caretaker Prime Minister Albin Kurti winning over half the vote, but certification has been delayed following a partial recount earlier this month. The Central Election Commission cited discrepancies in individual MP vote counts despite party totals appearing largely correct. Over 20,000 ballots in the country's second largest city, Prizren, alone were reportedly miscounted. Prosecutors are now investigating potential electoral offences. Beaches in northern Sydney remain closed after a man in his 20s was seriously injured in a shark attack, the city's third in just 2 days. The incident occurred in Manly, where the surfer was hospitalized in critical condition with leg injuries. Police confirmed all beaches in the Northern Beaches Council area will remain closed until further notice. Earlier, a 10-year-old boy was knocked off his surfboard but unharmed, and another boy was critically injured in a separate shark attack at a harbour beach. Hundreds of demonstrators gathered in Atlanta on Monday to honor Martin Luther King Jr. Day while protesting what they view as continuing social injustices. In King's hometown, the march remained peaceful as part of wider national protests opposing immigration policies under President Donald Trump's administration. While many Americans marked the holiday through community service, protesters said the moment also called for action. Turkish police clashed with protesters in Diyarbakir, a predominantly Kurdish city, using force, pepper spray and plastic bullets. Hundreds had gathered to show support for Kurdish groups in neighboring Syria. Authorities intervened as tensions escalated during the demonstration. "90 migrants rescued in the central Mediterranean by the humanitarian vessel Ocean Viking have arrived in Palermo, Sicily. They were received by port authorities and the Italian Red Cross. The ship, run by the French NGO SOS Mediterranean, has rescued 123 people so far this year. The death toll from a massive fire at a shopping plaza in Karachi has risen to 23, with dozens still missing. Firefighters extinguished the blaze late on Sunday, nearly 24 hours after it began, allowing rescuers to search the badly damaged building. Families of the missing waited outside, hoping for news. The fire spread rapidly through shops storing cosmetics, garments and plastics. Authorities say the cause is under investigation. Karachi has a history of deadly fires, often linked to poor safety standards and illegal construction. In India's National Capital Region, a special investigation team has been formed to probe the death of 27-year-old software engineer Yuvraj Mehta. He drowned after falling into a ditch in Noida. His death has sparked public outrage. According to his father, Yuvraj called for help and struggled for nearly 2 hours before dying. His father has accused authorities of negligence, claiming his son could have been saved with a timely response. A winter storm moving across the country has brought dangerous whiteout conditions to Buffalo, New York. The National Weather Service has issued widespread warnings, cautioning that parts of the Midwest and Northeast could face either extreme cold or significant winter storms. The impacted area stretches from northern Minnesota through Wisconsin and Indiana, and east into Ohio and Pennsylvania. Officials warn travel could be hazardous and urge residents to prepare for rapidly changing and potentially life-threatening winter weather conditions. A massive snowstorm over Michigan caused more than 100 vehicles to crash or slide off Interstate 196 on Monday. The pileup, involving over 30 semi-trailer trucks, forced authorities to close both directions of the highway southwest of Grand Rapids while crews cleared the wreckage. Michigan State Police reported multiple injuries but confirmed no fatalities. Life is gradually returning to normal in Russia's Kamchatka region after a massive snowstorm. Residents were spotted clearing streets as traffic slowly resumed on snow-covered roads. The area was last week hit by a powerful cyclone which brought fierce winds and record-breaking snowfall, with snow drifts reaching over 3 meters, which is approximately about 10 feet. Chilean President Gabriel Boric met with President-elect Jose Antonio Cast to address the ongoing wildfire crisis in the Nubel and Biobío regions. Boric confirmed that at least 19 people have died and warned that the number of destroyed homes could rise sharply. Chile's forestry agency reported that firefighters are battling 34 wildfires nationwide, with the largest blazes concentrated in the Nubel and Biobío regions. Residents continue to sift through debris as emergency crews work under challenging conditions to contain the fires. The United Nations reports that over 500,000 people have been affected by flooding in southern and central Mozambique. Heavy rains since mid-December have inundated the provinces of Gaza, Maputo and Sofala. UN deputy spokesperson said the floods have severely damaged health facilities and nearly 5,000 kilometers of roads across 9 provinces, cutting off supply routes. Authorities also reported the loss of more than 27,000 livestock. The main road linking the capital Maputo to the rest of the country is now impassable. Asian markets traded cautiously as Japan's long-dated bond yields climbed to fresh highs and investors weighed renewed US-Europe trade tensions. Japan's 40-year government bond yield touched 4% for the first time, pressuring equities, with the Nikkei down about 0.7%. Sentiment was also dented by fresh tariff threats from US President Donald Trump, who warned of duties of up to 25% on exports from 8 European nations over Greenland, prompting talk of European retaliation. In China, the central bank kept loan prime rates unchanged for an 8th straight month. Elsewhere, South Korean stocks slipped, Australia fell nearly 0.5%, and US futures pointed to a weaker Wall Street open. Oil prices edged higher on Tuesday as stronger than expected economic data from China lifted optimism about global demand. Brent crude rose about 0.3% to around $64 a barrel. China, the world's largest oil importer, reported 5% growth last year, meeting its target. Refinery throughput and crude output both hit record highs in 2025, supporting the outlook for fuel demand. Markets are also watching renewed trade tensions after US President Donald Trump threatened higher tariffs on several European nations over Greenland. A weaker US dollar added further support to oil prices, while investors continue to track developments in Venezuela and shifting crude flows into China. Gold and silver prices surged to fresh record highs as investors rushed into safe havens amid rising geopolitical tensions. Spot gold jumped nearly 2% to trade around $4,672 an ounce after hitting an all-time high near $4,689. The rally followed comments from US President Donald Trump, who threatened new tariffs on several European countries unless the US is allowed to buy Greenland, sparking fears of a wider trade conflict. Silver outperformed, soaring about 5% to around $94.40 an ounce, also a record high. The US dollar slipped to a one-week low as renewed geopolitical tensions rattled markets. The dollar index fell to around 99 after President Donald Trump's fresh tariff threats against European allies over Greenland revived the so-called Sell America trade. Investors sold US stocks, treasuries, and the dollar amid concerns about prolonged uncertainty, strained alliances, and possible retaliation. The yield on the 10-year Treasury edged higher to about 4.26%, while markets continue to expect the Federal Reserve to keep rates on hold at its next meeting. The dollar was little changed against the yen and the Chinese yuan, while the euro and pound traded flat. Risk sentiment also weighed on cryptocurrencies, with Bitcoin and Ether slipping in early trade. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer said more needs to be done to protect children on social media. The comments follow a global scandal involving Elon Musk's Grok AI chatbot generating non-consensual sexual images. Speaking to reporters, Starmer said all options are being considered. He said the government is looking at a range of measures to strengthen online safety. Britain has also passed a new law making the production of non-consensual sexual images illegal. The law already criminalizes the sharing of such content. China's securities regulator has asked brokers to remove client-dedicated servers from data centers in local exchanges, a move that will deprive rapid trading flash boys of an edge against other investors. High-frequency traders in China have long used servers situated at data centers run by futures and stock exchanges and owned by brokers to execute trades as the physical adjacency shaves off milliseconds or even microseconds. The tightening measure comes as the Chinese securities regulator steps up efforts to discourage market speculation and protect small investors. In sport, Novak Djokovic has become just the second player after Roger Federer to record 100 victories at the Australian Open. Djokovic beat Spain's Pedro Martinez in straight sets to achieve the feat. The 24-time Grand Slam champion won the match with the scoreline of 6-3, 6-2, 6-2 in 2 hours. The Serbian has set up a second-round clash with Italian qualifier Francesco Mistrali. Djokovic also made another slice of history on Monday. It was his 81st Grand Slam appearance, equaling the all-time record for men's singles appearances alongside old rivals Roger Federer and Feliciano Lopez. Italian fashion designer Valentino Garavani, known to the world simply as Valentino, has died at the age of 93. The cause of death was not immediately known. Valentino ranked alongside Giorgio Armani and Karl Lagerfeld as the last of a leading generation of designers. His last catwalk show was held in January 2008 in Paris.